After conquering New York City, Democratic Socialists are ready to march on the rest of America. Their next targets, upcoming Democratic primaries in Michigan, Wisconsin, and tomorrow, even in Colorado. All have progressive and DSA-backed candidates trying to build on their momentum. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is confident it is just the beginning.
And what these candidates offer is a vision that extends beyond the midterms, it extends beyond 2028. I think we are seeing a hunger that is not just felt by New Yorkers, but frankly by Americans from coast to coast for a new kind of politics, one that puts working people at the heart of it.
But they might have their eyes on an even bigger prize. Politico reports that Democratic Socialists are coming for 2028, quizzing members on which candidates they'd back for president. It could be good news for AOC if she wants to run. The New York Congresswoman is trying to get on the DSA's good side by defending Daria-Liza Chevalier's string of controversial statements.
She attended a pro-Palestinian rally in Times Square the day after the Hamas attacked Israel. She deleted a Twitter account that had a number of posts that called for the abolishment of police and prisons.
She has indicated that she has regret over the way that she issued those statements. We have to give people the opportunity to occupy their beliefs within the gravity of becoming a duly elected member of Congress.
This as rank and file Democrats make the case that the party is a big tent with enough room for democratic socialism.
Democrats are not going to win by defending.
It's important that we welcome them as part of our caucus. We have to have a big tent.
Kennedy, I was watching your face during those clips, and I said, I got to go to her first and see what's on her mind.
Yeah, Raphael Warnock, Chris Murphy, go ahead and build the Big Tent. All these Democratic Socialists want to do is burn it down with you inside. That's what they're waiting for. They will primary you. They will find anyone who adheres to their toxic orthodoxy, and they will make sure they prop them up with all that George Soros money, all of those PACs from those big tech donors, and they will burn down your political careers. They don't care about you. They are using the Democratic establishment right now as a Trojan horse to infiltrate politics because they want to do the same thing with the American political system, the American financial system that they do with the Democrat Party, and that is to annihilate it. They do not want to be friends with you. They are just using you. I feel like I'm giving you a lecture the way I would one of my teenage daughters when she brings home a guy with a tattoo and eyeliner. Get away as fast as you possibly can. They are going to hurt you. They mean you harm, absolutely. And, you know, of course, they feel emboldened in a very blue progressive electorate where they won 3 layup primary contests for them. But they want to go for the middle of the country. They want to find purple states. They want to find places where independent voters have been very disgruntled. And they are hoping that those voters succumb to their message of communistic populism the way they did when Trump created playbook. And they're hoping that it works against not Republicans, but Democrats.
Purple State, where all fine books
Purple
are sold.
State.
Harold, you have made the case for a long time that socialists are not Democrats. But the Democrats are saying, like Hakeem Jeffries is saying, no, come on in, the water is fine.
Well, first, it's good to be back with everybody. I think the Democrats are understanding that you win elections through addition, but they're having some difficulty reconciling this group who wants to abolish the police, abolish prisons, who believe that everything should be given away for free, who applaud those who urge violence or who have done violence to America. That's not the Democratic, in fact, that's not the American political system that I know. The thing that frustrates me about this group of political types, and I don't call them Democrats or socialists, is that I think they diagnose some of the challenge right. We live at a time which capitalism is not working for everybody. We've lived in moments throughout the 20th century where capitalism has been worked for everyone, and we found ways in which the private sector and the public sector partnered to make things better. The New Deal in the 1920s and the 1930s being one of the prime examples. But as I listen to Mayor Mamdani, he talks a great game about what the challenge is, the new vision, and how we have to make room in the party for these people. But what are their ideas? What are the outcomes they're trying to achieve? I hear no ideas about how we're going to deal with AI and introduce new job opportunities to communities across the country. I hear no new ideas about education, something you talk about a lot, Dan, and things that we need to be doing differently in the country. I hear them talk not at all about health care in any serious way, not at all about tax cuts. Because if you're going to offer the imagination and capture the attention of a lot of voters in the country, and the question will be, I think those voters, much like every voter has, when they get excited and they get encouraged to vote a certain way, are you going to make their lives better? And thus far, giving away everything for free, abolishing the police and not rooting for America, that's not a plan to make America safer and better for every American. And that's where I think
They do want Medicare for all, Jesse, amongst other things. You have another term you use for them.
Communism. Yeah. Just go right to it. So the Democrat Party is a machine, and The donors tell you what policy you have to do. The superdelegates choose the nominee, and then they all get talking points. That's why every day you hear Big Tent, Big Tent, Big Tent. All right? They all say the same thing. But they've screwed up, and the country is now pissed. The party's pissed because what they do, they did nothing. They made life more expensive and just focused on Mexicans and Ukrainians. And that let the communists creep in. And they've lied. And now we caught them with another lie. They have been denying they've been communists for decades. No, we're not communists. We love America. We're for strong borders. We love the police. All of a sudden, the communists start winning, and they're like, Big Tent, come on in. They don't believe in anything except power. What did we hear after Kamala lost? The Democrats need to define who they are, right? You can't just be anti-Trump. What do Democrats stand for? And we covered this whole process. We covered it for a year and a half, Dana. They were going to have to start going to football games. They were going to stop talking about trans. You know, they were going to fund the police, not defund the police.
They had to farm for oysters.
That's right. All right. We're working class in common with fascism. And they think they can cobble some winning coalition together. Kennedy is exactly right. The communists are going to steal the Democrat banner to get on the ballot. They're going to win. They're going to caucus with them when it works. And then here comes the purge. And the purge is going to be ugly. And the establishment is going to get purged. So you're going to have money versus passion. And that's a fight they have to have, but that's a fight they can't afford because they are dead broke.
Speaking of La Revolucion,
Yeah.
in South America, these countries are voting one after the next to bring back a more capitalistic type of government rather than the left-leaning ones that they've been having.
And isn't that interesting? After you get rid of USAID, all of a sudden these countries are going right-wing as opposed to left-wing. That's interesting to me. Harold hit on a really good point, which is that socialists, they don't have ideas or a system. They state their goals as the system or the idea. So they go equality, equity, fairness, but they don't tell you what it is, because if they did, you would go, holy crap, that's force, that's coercion. We keep hearing that capitalism isn't working, and I keep wondering, for whom? It's an imperfect system, but it's the only system we have. Can I quote a philosopher, Dana, from the early 1990s?
Please.
All right, Dana. Dana, no one told you that life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke. You're broke. Your love life's DOA and DNA. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your month, or your year. My point being that today is the manifestation of every generation. Those were 30-year-olds in 1994 saying that their life sucked. But you know, when you look at somebody who's successful, it's normal to say, I want what they have. It's an aspirational thing. So you try to figure out what they're doing, you ask them, and then you copy it. You emulate them. They mentor you. With socialism, they say, I want what you have when they see you, but that's all they say. I want what you have. They're not inspired. They're only envious and angry, which means even if people left the cities and formed their own red oasis, their own red cities, without the madness that cripples achievement, they're going to see that, and they're going to say, I want that too. So you may not, you cannot end this, because it's part of human nature. We all can be lazy, and we could all want something for nothing, but we reject that. Communism says, no, you can do that. It goes back to the thing, I think I said this last week, that it's a mistake to give them the aura of radicalism because it makes them look cool. You know, it's like calling them a communist is like calling me a sex symbol. I'll take it. You know, the strategy is to not call them radical, but call them boring conformity. Their ideas are 100 years old. Their beliefs have been done and failed. There's nothing new there. And I think you have to say, I'm bored by this. And that's where you go back to Harold's point. It's like, how would you do this? What's your new way of doing it? And you're right about the Big Tent thing. How can you welcome people into a tent that are against assimilation? These are people that reject cultural, gender, civil behavior, any kind of assimilation. The melting pot, they reject that. How can you go, come on into my tent? If they're great, but we're gonna, as you say, burn your tent down. They don't know how to do it because they've alienated all of us. The Democrats, with their, we have the path of common sense. They refuse to join us on it. So who are they gonna rely on now? Where are their friends? They've alienated all of them.
Where are their friends? Way to bring it home.
And one of their new members, she was in college for 12 years.
I know, exactly. And she beat somebody that actually had some experience.
And who came as
Founded on October 7, 1996 by Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes, with the goal of providing an alternative to what they perceived as a liberal bias in mainstream media. Headquarters, based in New York City, 1211th Avenue of the Americas. Leadership, the current CEO is Suzanne Scott. Programming, it broadcasts 24/7 news and opinion programming. Popular shows include The Five, Fox and Friends, and Gutfeld. Market position. It has consistently ranked as one of the most watched cable news networks in the United States for over 2 decades. Perspectives and criticism. Fox News holds a unique place in the American media landscape. It is widely recognized for its conservative-leaning political commentary and has a high level of trust among Republican voters. Conversely, it is often criticized by academic and media observers for its ideological stance, with some critics arguing that its editorial approach contributes to political polarization. The network has also faced various controversies over its history, including allegations of biased reporting and internal scandals. Would you like to know more about a specific aspect of Fox News, such as its history, its role in U.S. politics, or details on other media outlets?